I'm very, very pleased that you're here. I'm very pleased that you're coming here and showing an interest for the organization and to learn more about the Human Rights House Network. Here in Oslo, now you're sitting at in the Human Rights House of Oslo, where we are like 8-9 human rights organizations co-located. And this is the first Human Rights House that was established 25 years ago. And the thinking was to begin with just to establish a house where we could co-locate smaller human rights organizations to be stronger together, to learn from each other, share some resources, and it's less costly to share things instead of sitting one by one. So it was a very simple idea and thinking behind it, and it was more a way of supporting human rights work in Norway. And then because of several of the human rights organizations based here, they were working with colleagues in the Soviet Union. And when Soviet collapsed, the partners came to us and said, hey, we would like to have the same kind of working climate, being together, and now we want to learn other methods, how to work. Since it is opening up here, we would like to learn more from you how you work. So gradually, with the partners in Russia and in Poland, we established something called the Human Rights House Network. And today it is 20 years ago this network was established. So we have the concept of a human rights house where you gather national human rights organizations under the same roof. That's the classical model, but we can also look into other, if it's not possible to have like this physical building and moving in together, the core idea is to work together, to coordinate, to cooperate, to learn from each other, to protect each other. So you can also have more like a virtual coalition and still be a human rights house. So there are different models depending on the local conditions. Today there are 18 human rights houses in 13 countries, and we are working with several others. So hopefully in the future there will be some more. And what we do in the network, you know, the NGOs in the different houses, they are totally independent and they have different human rights issues that they work on. But what we share together in the international network, it is a focus on the preconditions to be a human rights defender, or preconditions for civil society to be free and independent and able to work on developing the society. So, and these preconditions that we focus on, it's the freedom of expression, freedom of association, and freedom of assembly. And then the right to be a human rights defender. And we are working in, or having members in Eastern Europe, in Caucasus, in the Balkan, in West Europe, and we used to work in Eastern Horn of Africa. We haven't for the last couple of years, but we will return. So hopefully next year we will start with our partners in Uganda and Kenya again. Norway is a very small country, and we have had democracy for quite a while. And in a healthy democracy, protection of human rights is a big issue and important. So these are values that have been supported by many different political parties. So the entire parliament that we have, I mean, all the different political parties have been supportive of protection of human rights over many, many years. So it has been part of the policies in Norway, but also in our foreign affairs. We don't work on asylum seekers and refugees in general. When we are dealing with the issue, it is when human rights defenders in the countries where we work, where we have partners, when they are threatened and when their life is at risk, that is when we are involved in asylum cases or protection cases where they need to leave and come to Norway, either for a short-term break and then return, or to actually have asylum. Norway has had at the UN they have the responsibility in running the resolutions from year to year on the protection of human rights defenders. Norway has a guideline on protection of human rights defenders for the Foreign Affairs Office, and it is linked to that where we are, as an organization and a network, working on asylum cases. When it comes to human rights defenders, they are the most of the targeted journalists, human rights defenders. They are, I would say, the ones that it is the easiest to get into Norway and to get asylum, because it is such a obvious case that it is a threat for their life due to their work on human rights at home.